Okay, folks, listen, we getting right into it. Now, I done made this several times, you know what I mean? But this time, I'm gonna do it more on the authentic side. And what's gonna make it authentic is, we finna use these fresh chicken livers. Let's get it. Okay, folks, so look, if you look right here, you can see, look, these are all the ingredients for it right here. This right here is gonna be key too, and that's gonna be your rice. But really, when I tell you it's your chicken livers, some of you guys have got your nose turned up, you're like, ugh, I'm not doing that. Trust me. And don't forget, the full ingredient list is on my website. That's smokingandgrillingwithab.com, and that's WITAB.com. Okay, so this is what we're finna do. I'm gonna be starting with, bacon fat, right? So, got my bacon fat here. I started warming up my cast iron, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little bit of this in here like this. You know what I mean? This is where we're gonna start with that, that good flavor. Now, some of you guys are gonna ask me, do you have to use bacon fat? No, you do not. What you can do is, you can use any type of cooking oil. We're gonna be using 80-20, and we got our chicken livers, right? So I done took a couple of these out of here right here. Now, what I wanna do is I wanna mince this down. I already rinsed this, right? So we'll just go ahead and get this going as my pan heats up to, temp, right? So we get them like this. I'll bring them over here to the side, and now we just cut them down, right? You wanna have a sharp knife. You wanna be able to have little pieces like you see right here. Look at that. Now, you don't need a whole lot of this. If you're a fan of the chicken liver, please, by all means, go ahead and do it. But this is about what I'm gonna put in here, for this one. Okay, so look, I've already diced down my chicken livers. I got my 80-20. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this in. Right, we building up a little heat. That's going. Now, once I break this up, I'm gonna move everything to the side, and then I'm gonna start with my livers. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna break this up, right? Get this to start really, cooking down and adhering with a little bit of that bacon fat, right? Now, I'm gonna go ahead and take my chicken liver, and then we're gonna add this on here. I can hear y'all now, everybody saying, I don't want no chicken liver. I done made it without the chicken liver. If you want it to be a little bit more on the authentic side, and you guys gotta trust the process, folks. This does work out and taste very, very good. Now, don't forget on my website, which is smokingandgrillingwithab.com, and that's WITAB.com. You'll get the full, measurements and everything. You guys can go up to 8 ounces. I'm putting a little bit in here so it'll be visually appealing to everybody else, but this right here, I could have probably almost added like another quarter to that. And just the marryiness, when the two flavors marry together, along with the bacon grease, turn out perfect. Okay, so now, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this out. You guys gotta get one of these meat mashers. It breaks this up, especially really into ground. You know what I mean? And then here, what I'm doing now is just mixing it all together. We still see a little pink. We're gonna start dicing down our celery. You guys can pre-dice it down already. This just for me, I like to be able to just cook nonstop. If you're a beginner, it'll be in your best interest to go ahead and take it, and do everything, pre-do it. Now, we want to have ground, and this is what this is really, really for right here. Right here. If you're using them non-stick pans, this won't break none of that surface, scratch nothing up, and you don't want to adjust none of that. Okay, so as our beef and our liver is going, what we want to do is we want to dice our celery, right? Now, if you look at this, I'm dicing this a little bit on the small side because we want to get this flavor of the celery, in here. Now, this is going to be key, right? It's not so much as for texture, but for flavor. Remember, that's why we dice small. Okay, so now that I got my onions done, I'm gonna start with my onions, right? You guys know I like to do that first. I know that everybody says it doesn't make a difference whether you go all veggies in at the same time, but for me, I love giving my onions a little bit of a head start. Then we're gonna come with our celery and our bell peppers. Now I have my bell peppers pre-diced, because when I make everything, when I do them, sometimes I'll just dice down a couple of them if I have one or two extra. So that's where these are coming in right here. So now we'll just add those. Now it should start to smell incredible, once everything hits the heat. Okay, so I put my garlic, I put it all right here. You guys can see it, So now we're gonna go ahead, and get this incorporated. All right, folks, so look, now we move over to the part where we start to put our more flavor in here, right? So we got Creole kick, we got W sauce, and then we got hot sauce. You guys can use the hot sauce of your choice. I'm going to be using this right here. This is my go-to Louisiana, everything, all of this wrapped up and run. This is Sweet Smoky Joe's. Now, we just go ahead, start adding this in here. You know what I mean? We put in about a teaspoon. You guys can see it. It's got the little spout on there, so it might look like I'm doing a lot of shaking, but not a lot is coming out. We just want to get ourselves about a teaspoon, right? We got that. Then when it comes to our W sauce, we're gonna add a couple of them in there. And don't forget, the full ingredient list is on my website. That's smokingandgrillingwithab.com, and that's WITAB.com. Now we're gonna tie it all in, you know, with our Creole kick. All right, so we add this in here. This kind of like ties it in. If this don't say, you know, Southern, Creole, Cajun, I don't know what it does. Okay, so now we want to add our rice to this, right? So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put in about a cup and a half. Ain't no about, and again, the full recipe is on my website. I know you guys are tired of hearing it, but I gotta keep telling you guys, you know what I mean? Because you guys go there, I can actually see when people are on the site, you know what I mean? And then you guys go there and you find other things that go along with. You know what I mean? That's why we take the time to go ahead and put this in, right? So we got a cup and a half of rice, right? So now I'm gonna go ahead and cook this and brown this a little bit, let it hit this cast iron, right? Look at this right here. All right, so now we finna get ourselves, you know, 3 cups, right? Of chicken stock. So while that's cooking, I can hear it in there cooking. It's doing, this is what you want, folks. We just wanna brown it a little bit, let the raw rice absorb some of the, you know, flavor that we already cooked up, right? So now we're gonna add this, right? Oh yeah, listen to that right there. Look at that. Now we're gonna add this, you know, to our pan. Now I'm gonna go ahead and raise my fire because I wanna go ahead and get this up to a boil, right? So you guys make the adjustment right underneath. Now, once everything comes back up to a boil, right? I'll just go ahead and hit it. If you want to go ahead and give it a taste now to see if your liquid needs a little bit of salt, you can make an adjustment here. I just tasted mine. Mine is just, you know, good for my liking. This is where you taste right. You know, this is where you start, right? Now you want to add your bay leaves, right? Which would be, we just add them like this. They rehydrate and release their flavors of the bay leaf inside of here, right? Now, I'm getting ready to adjust my fire. I want to show you guys. I'm going to adjust it down to like a real super low. We just want to get it simmer, right? I'm gonna add a top, which I probably should have said a long time ago, right? You want to have a top. This will let some of the steam out. We put it like this, and then we're gonna let it simmer for 20 minutes. See you then. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes. I done turned off my fire, and you know, so this is what I did. I did open this about 12 minutes into it just to make sure everything stayed on low and I wasn't burning none of my rice on the bottom, right? So now that we're done, 20 minutes, I turned everything off. Remember, folks, you want to break away from yourself. You want to let that steam out right there so you don't get no burns, right? So now that we have that open right here, I can see my bay leaf right here on top. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw that one away. Look, I'm gonna get under here and I'm just gonna open this up. Now, after looking at this, it already looked like dirty rice, right? I can promise you, using the chicken livers, that's what just like sends it over the top. I suggest you guys use about half of what I give you in the ingredient list. If you do that, you know what I mean, taste it and see where you at. This is for those who don't, you know, already eat it. Listen, I'm not finna over talk it or nothing like that. I'm finna get myself some. I'm gonna take one, get one of these, because we about to have this for dinner tonight, folks. So, I'm gonna go in here and get some of this. You guys see it? Cheers, y'all. Tasting this just put me back being at grandmama's house, right? She made this all the time. You guys can now too. You know, let me know down in the comment section below, is there anything that I did not put in here that you think that would make it more authentic? Now, with that being said, I want to take this time to say thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to tell everybody out there, there's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, folks, so let me go ahead and pour myself a tall glass of ice cold tea, and I'm out. Peace.